black people.
Why are there no Walmarts in Iraq? What do you call it when a white man dances? What do white men do to satisfy their lives? A bunch of white men sitting on the bench. What do you call a white girl who can run faster than her brothers? Blindfold a Chinese. What did God say when He made the first letter? How do Chinese people damn my birthday?
Okay, our first question. I didn't email you this, but do you know what a microaggression is?
Microaggression?
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
Yes. No.
What is it? Would you like to explain?
From just lately reading articles about different protests on campuses, correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea that it's, whether it's, name calling or something that may be perceived not as aggressive.
So it's when you say something that isn't outright aggressive towards someone, but it's based on something built up on past aggressions, usually by a group of people.
Do you believe that our society, America specifically, is capable of true colorblindness?
No, I don't think so. I just think there's too much, the hatred and bigotry kind of runs too deep, so some things don't heal. I mean, you have to change the basic lifestyle of so many different groups in order to do that, so.
Maybe, I guess, is the answer I'd have to give, because it's possible, maybe long-term way in the future, where, who knows what changes, demographics are going to go through. But I think it's possible, but I don't think it's likely. I see color, and I think it's really hard to not just even see it. So I doubt it, but maybe it's possible.
Have you ever experienced racial prejudice or profiling, or if not, have you seen it firsthand?
I was always I went to a predominantly whiter high school, and it was super small, super small town. And I would always get the comments of oh, you're smart because you're Asian. It's because you're Asian that you can't drive well or everything. They would just make the side jokes, even though they've never seen me drive. Oh, you can't drive because you're a girl, because you're Asian. And it's just oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so, and there's a couple different things, overt racism, I've experienced that, and just being called the N-word, or having that written on different parts. I had it written in my car, on the ice, and, your car can ice over.
Oh,
and then,
right.
And somebody just wrote it, and it was outside my apartment in Boston, and I was that's, I'm pretty relaxed, so, as an adult at least now, so that those things don't bother me, and it's more just wow, that's, whatever, childish, or just, it was unusual, and I guess it's good that come to a place where to find that be the exception, not the rule. But in far of being prejudged, I think it'd be more in the microaggression things you spoke of earlier, in terms of someone prejudging you and saying, wow, you're an engineer, or they have different expectations of what an African American may or may not be. So I think that's where I've seen the most growing up.
Do you think it's important that we acknowledge race when making social decisions? For example, school admittance, scholarships, jobs?
I would say ideally no.
I would say base it off of merit, because when you get into jobs that are dangerous not only to the person working it, but people around them, so a nurse needs to be top-notch. You can't just hire somebody because you need a black nurse. That's not only dangerous for the general public, but it's not doing anybody any favors other than a pat on your own back saying, oh, we have a black nurse, or we have an Asian nurse. But I do fully believe that if you hire people off of merit and everybody's given the same just kind of beginning point, so if all the resources for learning and education are spread out evenly, that you won't have as much of a divide between any race or class.
I'm a black and white American, a African American, a shade that baffles scholars on the roots of family heritage. Too black to get a skin tan, too white to not want it, too black to not start sweating when I see police coming. I'm on the brink of a sabbatical, breaking free from the casual, finding my